Hello, this is the problems worked out on page 48. So I already did 1, 2, and 3 from the other day, so let's take a look at number 4. So I have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. I don't have to put a 1 out front because I already have a 2. Multiply those together, that's going to give me a negative 6. In order to multiply two numbers together to get a negative, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. And so let's think about the factors of 6. I think we can stop there because those are 5 apart. We just have to figure out where the signs go. Well, if it's a negative 6 and a positive 1, if I add those together, I get negative 5, which is great. I didn't have to worry about the 2 and the 3 because those would not work. So bring the two ends down and then plug in this, whatever order you want. So I'm going to go plus 1x minus 6x. What do I have in common here? I have an x, so that's going to give me 2x plus 1. This middle sign always comes down. I have a 3 in common here because 3 goes into 6 and 3 goes into 3. Change the signs here because I factored out a negative. These match, that means it factors out. And it's done. Number 5, so you get 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. We don't have to put a 1 out front because we already have a 2. Multiply those together, I get a positive 12. Just by looking at the signs, they're both positive, so that has to both be positive. And think about what the factors of 12 might be that would add up to 7. So 1 and 12 wouldn't work, 2 and 6 don't work, but 3 and 4 do. So they're both going to be positive, so we're going to have an x from plug in. Bring these ends down. And then I have plus 3x and plus 4x. I'm going to factor out a x from both of those. Middle sign comes down. I can factor 2 goes into both 4 and 6. I don't know why I stopped writing. So I get 2x plus 3. Those are the exact same. And then x plus 2. There's my answer. Number 6, I get 2x squared minus 11x minus 6. We don't have to put a 1 up front because I have a 2. Multiply those together, so I get a negative 12. When I multiply two negatives together in order to, or if I multiply two numbers together in order to get a negative, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So what are the factors of 12 that would add up to 11? Well, I think you can just go with the 1 and 12. If you multiply those together, you get the 12. In order to add them to get the 11, it has to be a negative 12 and a positive 1. Don't forget the x's. So bring the ends down. So 2x squared, negative 6. And whatever order you want, just make sure you keep your signs. X in common there, so I get 2x plus 1. I can, in fact, bring the middle term or middle sign down. I can factor a 6 out of both of those. Those are the exact same. Oops, I meant to be a positive because I factored out negative. So I get 2x plus 1 and x minus 6. Number 7, we get 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. We don't have to put a 1 out front because I have a 3, so multiply those together, so I get negative 12. In order to get a negative number when multiply, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. And the factors of 12 that are going to add up to 11, I think I'm going to go 12 and 1. And it's going to be a positive 12 and a negative 1 in this case, because those would add up to positive 11. Don't forget the x on both. Bring down your ends. And in between them, you're going to put plus 12x minus 1x, and you can do that in whatever order you wanted to. What do I have in common between those two? It looks like a 3 and an x. Factor 3x out of 3x squared, you're left with x. Factor 3x out of 12, that's a 4. Middle sign comes down. Nothing's really going to come out of this other than a negative 1, so that just changes the signs. Notice I have a negative 1 here. Okay, that's going to be part of my answer. And there it is. Number 8, I have 5x squared plus 7x plus 2. I'm going to multiply the first and the last together, so I'm going to get a positive 10. Let's make sure that they're both positive. Well, all the signs are positive, so that works perfect right there and there. So think about the factors that work that add up to 7. So 1 and 10 won't work, but 2 and 5 will. 2 plus 5 is 7. They're both going to be positive, so we're going to make sure we put that in the middle and point down, 5x squared plus 2. In the middle, I'm going to put plus 2x and plus 5x. I factor an x out, so that gives me 5x plus 1. Excuse me, 5x plus 2, because I only factor an x out. Middle sign comes down. It doesn't appear that anything's going to factor out here, so we're going to factor out a positive 1. That does not change the signs because it's a positive 1. If it's a negative 1, the signs would change. So 5x plus 2 and x plus 1. Number 9, I have 6x squared minus 11x plus 3. Multiply those together, so I get a positive 18. In order to get a positive 18, it could be positive positive multiplied together or negative negative. Because I have a negative here, they're both negative. So think about the factors of 18 that would both be negative, that would add up to 11. And I think we could choose to use 2 and 9, both being negative. Don't forget the x's. Plug that into here, so bring the ends down. Oops, that's a 3x, or that's a 3, not a 3x. So in whatever order you want, just make sure you keep the signs there. Looks like that. So 2x comes out front. That gives me 3x minus 1. Middle sign comes down. So that's a negative, and I can factor a 3 out of both of those. That's going to give me 3x and minus 1. Factor out a 3x minus 1 from both of those. Whatever you have left is your answer, part of your answer. There you go. Number 10, I have 4x squared minus x minus 3. Let's multiply those together, so I get negative 12. So in order to get a negative number when multiplying, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So I have a negative 1x in the middle. So what are the factors of 12 that are only 1 apart? Well, 1 and 12 aren't. 2 and 6 are 4 apart. So 3 and 4 it has to be. So it's going to be a negative 4 and a positive 3. Don't forget the x's. Do your bookends, so 4x squared minus 3. And then I get plus 3x minus 4x. Watch your signs, okay? I can factor an x out of both of those. That's going to leave me 4x plus 3. Middle sign comes down. That means I'm factoring a negative 1 out. That means the signs, nothing else will factor out here, so the signs will just change. As long as these match, there's my answer. Number 11, I get 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. Let's multiply those together, so I get negative 24. In order to multiply two numbers together, you get a negative. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. So let's think about the factors of 24 that are 5 away from each other. Well, 1 and 24 are too far. 2 and 12 are 10 apart, so that's not quite it. What about 3 and 8? Are 3 and 8 4 apart from each other? And then which one has to be positive, though, when I add together? I think it has to be a positive 8 and a negative 3. If I flip-flopped it, that would be a negative 5, but I want a positive 5. Don't forget the x's. So then I bring out 4x squared minus 6. Squeeze this in the middle, whatever order you want. Then I factor an x out, so I get 4x minus 3. Middle sign comes down. What can I factor out of both of those? Yeah, 2 goes into both. These match. Being they match, that's what they want to have take place. There it is. Number 12, I get 4x squared plus 11x plus 6. Multiply those together, so I get positive 24. Look at all the signs, they're all positive, so they're both going positive here. So what factors of 24, what two numbers multiplied together to give me 24, but add together to give me 11? 1 and 24 don't work. That gives me 25. 2 and 12 don't work because that gives me 14. 3 and 8 works. 3 plus 8. 4 and 6 wouldn't work. It would only give me 10, but 3 and 8 would work. Don't forget the x that you're going to combine with those. Bring down the ends. 4x squared plus 6. Put those in the middle, whatever order you want. Just keep the signs coming. You can factor an x out of both of those. That gives me 4x plus 3. The middle sign comes down. I think I can do a 2 into both of those, and that's going to give me 4x plus 3. These are going to factor out. And there's my answer. Today, I'm not going to give you homework tonight. I'll give you a free weekend. But we are going to get some whiteboards out and a towel and a marker, and I'm going to give you 10 problems. If you can get 2 of the problems right, you'll get a 2 out of 2 for a quiz score. So it's a tiny little quiz, but it'll help your grade. If you get all 10 of them right, then I will give you 5 out of 2 points, which is a ton of extra credit. Sound like a deal? So once you're done with this video, make sure you get a whiteboard and a marker and a towel, and let's have some fun. Have a great day. Bye-bye.